Welcome to the Commissioner's Report. I'm your host, Jeff Foley, and I'm joined by District 3 Commissioner Bill Braswell and Anna Wood, Division Director of Waste and Recycling. So today we're going to talk about recycling and whether or not it works the way we think it should. So let's start with the most important question. Is Polk County getting out of the recycling business?
Well, thanks for letting us come on and talk about it. It's a big subject for a lot of people. And the fact of the matter is we've never been in the recycling business. What we have always done is had contractors who went out and picked up recycling materials, but the county itself has never actually recycled materials.
So if the county does not recycle, what happens with the materials when they're picked up?
Well, it goes through a variety of sortations, and eventually, if it's the right material, it goes to a recycling facility. But they're far and few between.
Okay, so I should probably rephrase my question. Polk County is not in the recycling business.
Correct.
But we've picked up recycling. Are we putting a pause on recycling activities?
Yes, we're going to put a pause on it, take a look at it from a business standpoint. A lot of things have changed in the last few years in the recycling business, and we're going to evaluate it and see what makes sense for the county.
So let's talk a little bit, Anna, about what some of those changes have been in recent years with the recycling.
Prior to 2017, the collection of materials included everything. Included all different types of plastics, included glass, included all these materials that our residents believe that they can be turned into something, a new product or a new packaging. So in 2017, the Borough County Commissioners made the decision to refine the materials that we were collecting. And echoing what Commissioner Braswell said, at the end of the day, no one who actually collects waste or recyclable materials is in the business of recycling. It's not only Polk County that is not, none of the municipalities are. Even the people that collect the material are not in the recycling business. They are just harvesting, collecting, and taking it to a third party to process.
We don't have everybody recycling. What's the percentage of our customers that even use a recycled cart?
The percentage is around 60 to 65% of our residents participate at any given point.
And 100% of the residents pay for that?
Yes, okay. 100% of the residents. All of us. I'm a customer. Commissioner Braswell is a customer, and so there's a lot of information that our residents need to understand before they start judging the decision that was made as to why we're pausing the collection of these materials.
So I think you said 65% approximately participate in the recycling program. It's an interesting choice of words to say participate, because what everybody thinks happens is maybe not exactly what happens with recyclables. So I know you have materials in front of you, Anna. Mm-hmm. Do you maybe walk us through what happens with a soda can or a milk bottle if they actually get recycled, and if so, what is that process?
The aluminum can, which by the way is on the top of the list for environmental reasons why we should recycle this material. Saves energy, and also through the years it has maintained the economic value, which is another component. It leads the chart when it comes to the economic value and the environmental value that it has as well by reusing it. And this is one of our products, or one of the materials that we collect. Then obviously we have the HDPE plastic, and this is this type of opaque plastic. This is one of the only plastic that is in our program. Although residents put all different types of plastic, this is the one that retains its value. So this is the best plastic to have. And
let me stop you right there. One thing I learned, and we've talked about this subject so much here in the county, when we originally started talking about what kind of plastics we were going to recycle, and I didn't know, but every plastic company has a different combination of chemicals that they use to make their plastic. So this guy uses 5 and this guy uses 50, and they still have a plastic bottle or whatever. Well, you just can't melt all these different chemicals together and have something that plays nice, in a mold. So a lot of the plastics that people want to recycle just can't be recycled.
So the demand for this type of plastic is very high, mm-hmm. because it can be utilized in multiple applications. And again, environmentally helps, but also from an economic standpoint. And these are the products that we collect. And then obviously we collect cardboard, although cardboard does not have as much utility because you cannot recycle fiber that many times. Tops will be 5 times that you could use the same material to be recycled over and over. Aluminum is basically forever, and this type of plastic 2 or 3 times.
And I just want to throw in, part of the reason I wanted to talk about this subject was originally I wanted to look at the carbon footprint of what's in the recycle bin and what's entailed. And when you really get down and dial it in, it gets ridiculous. You've got these trucks burning diesel, driving all over the county, picking up these cans, bringing it back. It gets sorted once, it goes on another truck, it's driven to Tampa or somewhere like that. They go through it again. Eventually, you have a very tiny amount of actual recycled goods, and you've probably burned 1 million gallons of diesel to get there. So it really gets ridiculous at some point.
Eventually, it's going to end up in 2 ways. It's going to end up properly managed in a landfill like the North Central landfill here in Polk County, or it's going to end up in the environment.
But I think it's important to understand that of all the material that's collected, just that small fraction actually goes to a recycler. Everything else goes to the landfill. And what I like about that whole concept is when it goes to the landfill, it's a hole in the ground that has a liner. Nothing's going to seep into the aquifer, and it's managed just like Anna said, and we know where it's at. It's not out here, getting in the streams, just floating around. It's actually in a place that's covered up every day, and it's going to break down over a period of time. And we've got, 100, 150 years
Yes.
of landfill space here in Polk County. We're lucky. If we lived in Key West, a different story. But we're not in Key West. We're here, and we've got this huge landfill that's going to carry us for many, many decades. And that is a good place for it to go because we know where it's at.
Yes, and in addition to that, from the very early stages, the Polk County plan has been to put all this, to be good stewards of the environment, to put these materials where we know where they are. And in the future, when there are opportunities where these materials can be truly reused, then we can go and mine these materials at the landfill. We know where they are, we can mine them, and that 150 years can actually be extended by extracting all those materials and creating that space again to put new solid waste. So that in itself, to me, is good recycling. Is a way of taking the responsibility and saying we are going to manage the solid waste that is created within the boundaries of Polk County. We don't want our trash floating in the ocean. We don't want our trash polluting another country. And that has a lot of value.
And just like you're talking about your family, you want to do the right thing. And we get that. And I think most people do. But once we pause our recycling efforts, that doesn't mean you have to stop recycling. We're going to provide private, I guess you'd call them haulers, private recyclers, that will be available for individuals who want to subscribe to their service. They'll come to your house, they'll pick up your recyclables, and they'll take them off.
So when does the pause start?
October 1 of 2024, correct? Yeah.
That is correct. Yeah. That is correct.
We've got lots of time to get it sorted out. We'll keep doing what we do until then. Well, it's like the glass we have
Yes.
over here. I think that's a great example.
Yes.
People get on us about it. I'm like, find me somebody who will recycle glass. And when you recycle glass, what are you going to have? Or what are you going to make? Sand? We can go out here to the sand mine and get sand. We don't have to send trucks to Atlanta, Georgia, to get recycled, crushed glass sand. I mean, I think the route we're going makes a lot more sense for the environment and certainly for the taxpayers.
Yes.
Talk to me, and I know we've kind of visited this a little bit, but talk to me about the safety for the environment of having these products end up in the landfill.
Well, I mean, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, almost everything ends up at the landfill anyway, either there or an incinerator, probably.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. I see out here on the west side of Bartow the Clearwater recycling truck and the Bel Air Shores recycling truck. Their residents think, oh, we did the best thing we could. We recycle, it went in the bin. Well, guess what? They just take it to a landfill somewhere else. And that's the reality of this market. Again, we want people to do the right thing. But the landfill, in so many cases, if not almost all, is the right place to put it.
And so I know this has been in the news a little bit recently. There was an article in the Tampa Bay Times not too long ago indicating that maybe municipalities should not do away with recycling, but should instead focus on the high value recyclable items. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it gets back to how much do you want to subsidize this thing? You know, if I want to start a company that recycles clear plastic bottles and you want to pay me some outrageous fee to do it, and I just turn them into whatever, yeah, somebody will do that. And that's kind of what we're in right now. These other municipalities are looking at it and going, we're paying all this money and we're really not getting anything for it. So they're looking at the ones, the metal, that particular plastic, the ones that actually have a return, recycle those and landfill the rest. When we shifted over to just these particular materials, we took a beating pretty good, you know. Everybody wants you to recycle everything. And it's hard to explain to people that that's not the reality of what's going on. And you know, we've pounded that in through public or through social media, through advertising. It still doesn't resonate. And it's a difficult message to get across to the public. But other places now are seeing what we did 5 years ago is probably the better way to go. And now we're at a point where we think there's even a better way to do it, and we're going to look at that. I think the most frustrating part, since we've been trying to message this, early on, I was getting all these emails and phone calls. Hey, I drink 50 bottles of water a week. What am I supposed to do with them? My answer is, why are you drinking 50 bottles of bottled water a week? I don't drink bottled water at all. I got a glass, I got a sink at my house, tap water, drink it, you know. We create the problem with the way we you know, with our actions, and then we expect somebody else to fix it. And that's, you know, we just need to educate the public on things like that. Why do you need 50 bottles of water every year or every week?
So I think there's plenty for us to revisit in another
Yes.
segment before too long. Just to recap though, September 30th, 2024 is when the pause will start, correct?
Correct.
And Polk County is not taking away the ability of residents to recycle.
Correct.
We're just changing how it's done.
Correct. There may be a few adjustments between now and October 1st of 2024 that will need to be implemented, but not the change where residents will have the control and the power to do what they wish to do with their materials will occur on October 1st, 2024.
Okay. Anna, Commissioner Braswell, thank you. Let's do this again before too long.
You bet. Always glad to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for spending some time with us today. That's it for the Commissioner's Report. Please check us out again soon. Have a great day. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to subscribe and like our social media.